Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Today is Sunday, February 26th, and Chrome LC are your 2023 PLL Championship Series champions of the world. I'm Jordie from Barstool, and with me, as always, he just got done putting up a historic performance all week long at the Bar Down Beer Garden at the St. James. He is right now probably the most dedicated fan of professional lacrosse you'll ever meet. So luckily this booze bag he's still standing long enough to squeeze in one more episode here. We've got Doogs on the mic. Doogs, I mean, what a week for lacrosse, but what a week for you. How are you feeling right now?
I'm hurting. And like the thing is, publicly, I can't really fucking complain. And I can't be like, not everyone's built for this. Like to grow the game and drink at the Bar Down Beer Garden for 5 days in a row. This morning I just was like, I'm getting water. I watched the game with the water and a Gatorade. I was like, I physically cannot do it.
Oh yeah, I saw Scotty Rogers snipe you on his Instagram story. How's dude, a nice orange Gatorade though. It's a good hungover flavor.
It's a great hungover flavor. But what that whole setup was, for just speaking strictly of the beer garden, and I love what the PLL does with RJ and getting the younger kids involved, because those are the kids that are going to grow up to be the fans. I think that everyone that's like 20 to 30 right now that likes lacrosse will continue to watch lacrosse no matter what. What the beer garden was, that's the future to get people to come to the weekends and just hang out. Like, it was great. You could play cornhole in between the games. Like the beer snakes were going all weekend long. Field side view. I mean, it probably will depend stadium to stadium how good the setup is for the beer gardens, and I think that will determine the experience for it. But it was a really, really fun time.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it looked especially the Saturday games. So
bonkers.
So yeah, Saturday it looked packed at the beer garden. Yeah, I
Which
mean,
makes sense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People work on Saturdays, and then but so like even like Wednesday and Thursday, I was like, all right, like Wednesday, you gotta one, love lacrosse, and two, love to be like, I need a deal. Like they're like the people out there, they love the deal. And then Thursday, it's Friday Junior, fill out a little bit. I honestly thought that Thursday would fill out more. I don't even know why. I thought Thursday was going to be the busiest day, but obviously Saturday's when like it meant the most. It was playoffs. It wasn't like the round robin stuff. So, I mean, overall, it blew my expectations away. It was cool that we had the ESPN Plus feature. Dana Boyle hated me.
You know what? I think Dana Boyle probably.
She could sleep on it, and she could. I think, all right. She might not like me, but she respected the fuck out of me.
How could you not? I mean, dude, the shift that you put in to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, I was under the impression, so I knew that you were going down there with Billy and with Jake for the first 2 days. And I thought, okay, yeah, like Dukes is going to rock those 2 days. He'll come back. Was it originally planned that you were going to stay there the rest of the weekend, or was that a game time decision? Because at first I thought, okay, yeah, if I know Dukes, like I know Dukes, this is like going to be perfectly fine for him. I did not expect you to have to go 5 days in a row of opening up and shutting down the Bar Down Beer Garden.
Yeah, and I think people like the bartenders that were serving me, they slowly saw me fade every single day. Like Saturday, I didn't drink for like the first half, and then like it slowly started to get going. Today, like he was like poured me one, and I was like, please stop. But so yeah, me and Billy were originally going to stay till Saturday, and Billy had to leave Friday, and at that point, I had to take a train home anyways. So I was just like, hey, could I stay just like if I'm gonna stay Saturday, can I just stay Sunday too? Like if we're gonna do this, let's fucking do this. If I'm gonna go 95%, let's go 100%.
Just throwing you don't half-ass things. You go full ass into them.
it took a lot out of me. I think there's like I was thinking this though. One idea, like it's like I'm bouncing off the walls. Like how could we make the bar down beer garden just like bring it to the next level every single time? I think it's got a little momentum now. I think that I want to see which city has the best bar down experience. Like rate which one has the best experience. Which one has like the best crowd at the beer garden. But like seeing who could get the highest snake, which city gets the highest snake, would be something cool that I'd want to see.
See, here's I think now you just have to be a traveling booze bag all summer long. Like I think they need to.
I look, if they want to do it, I'll say that if the PLL wanted me to travel to cities with them, and be the beer guy at the beer garden, I can play that role. Like some people could grow like when I originally grew up and I was like, I want to make lacrosse the next big thing. I kind of envisioned myself scoring 1,000,000 goals and like being a stud. But if I have to be kind of like the beer guy who grows the game, growing the game from my point of view, I think a lot of guys that are playing would be like, I like that guy's role way better than mine. Like,
well, here's the thing. So, like they could use you as like the RJ for the 21 and over crowd, right? Like RJ, dude, we've seen him at these events over the summer. Like you go to any PLL event over a weekend, and RJ is just hounded by about 250, 300, 8 to 12-year-olds, right? Like, and he does a great job at it, but like it's hard for him to get away from those guys. Bring you around and just do the same thing and just get hounded by 150 to 200 just like 24-year-old dudes who are like, yo, I could have been playing here if I didn't tear my ACL in high school, and then I went D3.
Everybody's talking about, everyone there is saying how they could have won D1.
Oh, everyone there is like, yeah, I played against that dude in high school.
Yeah, dude, he was trash in high school.
Yeah, we grew up. We played on the same club team when we were in 6th grade. He was like, all right. Then I tore my ACL.
I saw these kids. These kids like saw me. Like I'm stumbling out of the beer garden, and I see these kids, and they're just like talking shop with me. They're like, dude, I saw you. I love your goalie challenges and stuff. And I was like trying to like hold it together. I was like, yeah, do you guys want to do the goalie challenge against me? And I kind of forgot I had this conversation. I go back for like day 4. I think he's like, "Are we doing the goalie challenge today?" And I was like, "What is this fucking kid talking about?" And then he's like, "Remember 2 nights ago you saw me?" And I was like, "Oh God, I gotta clean it up, dudes." It's very, very funny, very funny. But one thing I was gonna say is, did you happen to see night 2? I think on Thursday, me and Billy did a beer snake, and we tried to get it onto the broadcast.
Yeah, I saw that it was slightly unsuccessful.
So the only way we knew how to get it onto the broadcast was to go to the cameras. You guys can find this on social media, I'm sure. My TikTok, I know, has it. So we're trying to get it onto the broadcast so Jake Marsh has to acknowledge it. And the cups weren't the best for beer snakes, and they weren't stable. And we probably went to 2 engineers in the building that should have been dealing with this. So we're holding it up, and the beer snake just goes down. Gets all over this dad, gets all over like these kids. Like we were the assholes in the building. We were the biggest assholes in the building. If it went successfully, we were the smartest guys in the building, but we were the assholes. And this dad just turns around and he's just like, it's like, do you know how disappointed your dad would be in you? And I was like, what? And then he's like, starts screaming at me, and I was like, if you think you hate me, like my dad hates me way more. Like my dad can't be any more disappointed in me. And his dad got so pissed. The PLL took care of him. I felt bad. So if that dad happens to be listening to this, or this gets across to him, I'm sorry. Hand up. But going off of that is then on Saturday when we had the ESPN Plus feature, there's some guys made a beer snake and they just had it like in the background of the shot. And I was like, that's so funny. Like me and Billy were like doing everything we could to like get a beer snake on the video, and then they were just like, how do we just bring a camera to the beer garden? And I just thought that was very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I've so the beer snake, I feel like there comes a certain point. It's almost like kind of growing your hair out where like you have that like awkward medium length that like sucks to deal with. And then once it gets a little bit longer, then you're in the clear. Like all those massive beer snakes that you'll see at like an MLB game or something like that, I feel like they're long enough that like there are just so many cups that it's hard to lose them, but like you guys were dealing with like the perfectly like worst amount of cups to try to be throwing up there.
For a Thursday night, we drank a record number of beers. It was. I want to give Billy football a quick shout out. He took some L's the first night in the chug offs. I think that he's like, a little bit like the entertaining clients. He wanted to be on good behavior. Second night, he put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was basically going into like a contract year right there, where he knew that was his last night, so he had to go all out.
Yeah, like, and I was forcing it. I wasn't forcing him. I don't force anyone to do anything. I was forcing him to basically do chug offs against the Stoolies. And his mom kicked his ass, called him like a pussy and everything. It's very funny. But for anybody that's 21 plus, I think it's something that a lot of people are going to be excited for this summer. And I think it's a great way to watch the game.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I mean, fantastic shift that you put in there 5 days straight. I'm proud of you. I think everyone listening is proud of you. But as you mentioned, great way to watch the game. There was a pretty big game earlier today. The PLL Championship Series final. It came down to the Atlas and the Chrome. If you watched this tournament all week long, you knew that there was really only one way that this tournament could be decided, and it would be between those two teams. The Atlas were just shit pumping everybody on their way to the final, and then the Chrome, they were pesky, they were opportunistic, and at the end of the day, they had Lord Thickness in cage, Sean Scannone. What a performance he put up this week. So to see the Atlas offense go up against Scannone in this game, we knew that it was going to be great. But holy shit, did this final deliver. I don't know. Recency bias, recency bias is definitely playing a big factor here. But I would say that this final game, like a top 5 most entertaining game that we've probably seen in the past 20 years. It was those last 3 minutes. If I could bottle up the last 3 minutes of that game and like just be like, hey, like to show new people of what lacrosse is and what it can be, like those last 3 minutes were electrifying. Back and forth, couple lead changes, bunch of 2 bombs, some big defensive stops, some good saves like that. The last 3 minutes were awesome. I thought that this game, regardless, like there can't be anyone out there who, sure, you might hate sixes, you couldn't have hated that game. So recency bias is definitely playing a big factor in me calling it top 5. Maybe it's not.
No. I don't think it's far-fetched, and I don't think it'll get the respect it deserves because people just either are so stubborn and don't want to like think that's like. I don't want to get into the sixes argument just yet, but what I can tell you was I was watching that game and I was saying to myself, this is one of the best just like competition. Like at the end of the day, there's a competition being involved, and it's who puts the ball in the back of the net more. And these are guys that are like looking at the difference between $5,000. Like, you're looking at paying off credit card bills. You're looking at getting a Montauk house for the summer with this check. Like this is people don't realize that they want to win that money.
I am real quick just before we get off it. I am very happy that this is something that we've kind of wanted in lacrosse for a while, to start putting how much money these guys are making out there. So I'm trying to. I don't know if I can find it right off the bat here.
5,000. Everyone got 5,000, and then the winner got like 10,000. Like the winner of that game got 10,000.
Yeah, so every player in the tournament, like regardless, like you got $5,000 for the tournament. So nice little paycheck for the week. Then the bonus for the team that won the championship was another 10 grand each. So it was like $120,000 split between. I don't know if you split it between the coaches or it's just the players, like whatever, but $120,000 to the winners, split that up. And then for the team that lost, it was like, $2,500. So listen, is this like Saudi golf money? No. Like, are we seeing these guys being millionaires? No. But like, I like that we're starting to finally put some monetary values out there so that, like, one, it just makes things more interesting. And then two, you realize that the end of this game, yeah, like it does mean something to these guys, right? Like you just said, that's
Yeah, like some of these guys, like it's the classic, like, oh, some of these guys work at gold and they don't need the money or something. It's like some of these guys also just probably like don't have a Goldman job. Like I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like people want like it's $10,000. Like I don't care.
yeah.
Like that matters. Like you're taking care of some expense with that money. That like could be a pain in the ass. You could pay for like your wife's engagement ring, something. Like there's something out there that's you're gonna be all right with that money, and they want it. I thought it was just competition wise, like putting the ball in the back of the net and just boys, meaning men and stuff. Great, great game. And I was sitting to myself and I was wondering, I go, is this the best game of the weekend? Is this the most exciting game of the weekend, or am I just sober watching this? Because I couldn't tell if it was like just like I was like, this is the first time I'm really sitting down watching every single second of the game. But it was really good. I think that we both said I think that was gonna be Atlas Chrome in the finals.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that like I really love the Atlas Archers game. That I think that was the Friday night game, and I wasn't really expecting much out of that game anyway, just because like they were, it was the third night of the tournament, so the guys are probably going to be a little bit tired, and they had the playoff round the next day, so I thought that there would maybe be a little bit of a letdown. But that game ended up being the 31-26 final for Atlas. But like that game was like super exciting. But like this game was because like it started off like I think at like one point it was like might have been like 8-3, 8-2, something like that. Like the beginning of the first quarter, like we were like, all right, is this about to be just another shit pumping for the Atlas? But the one thing that you found out like the whole week is that no lead in sixes is safe unless you have that lead against the Whip Snakes. But no lead is safe, and the fact that the Chrome were able to come back, make that a 1-goal game going into halftime. Then we did get that lull. The third quarter was a little, but but there was good defense being played in the third quarter, and there were still good shots being played. So like we only saw 4 goals in that third quarter, which like with these two teams is like wow. But like dude, like you got some sick Scanone saves, you got some sick saves from Kincannon. So and then yeah, I mean that fourth quarter was definitely the most exciting part of the whole game. Like that ruled.
And also, just like really quick, is like the Chrome's game plan in that game. I thought it was like again, I kept talking about what's the strategy going to be. How do you like when is someone going to like really make a think outside the box with sixes? And I think that you saw how big of a factor that 13-yard 2-point line was. The difference between 15 and 13 is a lot more than I think people will notice. Also, the way that the men that the Chrome have, they could match up with the dogs that the Atlas had. Like Dylan Malloy can go after, a Dox Aiken. They were meeting Romar up top, kind of slowing him down. He's been unstoppable in this sixes format. For not like the Michael Jordan of sixes, they were able to slow him down. And
I need to go back and look at it real quick, scrolling through to try to find it. But who did Malloy run through?
Dox Aiken.
What was that Dox? That little roll at the top of the key?
Maybe there was also one where I just saw Malloy and Dox like just like hit each other at the same time. I was like, whoa, I would not want to be in the middle of that.
Yeah, this one that I'm thinking of right now, it might have been Mac O'Rourke, but like just a roll dodge at the top of the arc, just bodied right through him and 2-pointer. Dude, what a game out of Dylan Malloy. What a tournament out of Dylan Malloy.
Agreed.
A guy who like
he's back.
I'm
not gonna say he's gone. Like he wasn't gone. He looks like he's in the best shape of his career, arguably.
Yeah. Which I mean, he's always been like a little beefy, little thick. But
it was also like 2 years ago when he came back to the PLL when like whatever. I'm not gonna get into that, but like when he came back to the PLL and he was probably gassing beers over COVID in Montauk, and then came back. He was like a little out of shape. Last year, he came on strong. This year, he seems like. Should I say it? I don't want to say it.
I think you got to say it now.
MVP of the league, potentially dark horse MVP going into the summer. And I know this.
I don't see why he's not in the conversation. I mean, dude, this is a guy who won a Tewaaraton, right? He's one of the best lacrosse, and he won a Tewaaraton. What was that? 2017, right? So it's like,
I think
and
the value is going to be there, and also when it's like it comes down to the Chrome have to build off last season, and there's some people that are gonna fit the sixes format very well that might not translate to the field version quite as well. But he's a player that I know what he's like in field. He impressed me in sixes. Again, is it maybe the recency bias, and he's also getting shorties all sixes? Maybe, potentially, probably. But I was really impressed with how he looked in general, like physically and just as a player. He had a really good week.
yeah, probably. I think my internet sucks a little. Let's see. What did he have last year? He wasn't. Yeah, I mean, he didn't really crack the top
30.
top 20 to 30 in points. But with that being said, no, I think that we could have a very good summer of Dylan Malloy on deck, and that's not crazy to think about because again, this is a guy who won a Tewaaraton. It's not like here's the thing, like if Christian Mazzone had a huge tournament, no offense, Christian Mazzone, but like if he had like a huge tournament. And then we were like, yo, is Mazzone going to be the MVP this summer? I'd be like, maybe he just had a really good sixes tournament. But like to your point, like, yeah, we've seen Dylan Malloy be the most dominant player in field lacrosse before. So it's not like you're not a maniac for saying it.
No, it's also it's like this. If the Chrome have a very good season again, right? Then if the Chrome have a good season, what's going to be the reason they have a good season? Who are they going to be the players that are key? Probably going to be the attack line. Like it's also like Wisnauskas. He's going to be a dark, like I don't even know if dark horse. Probably top 10 odds, but like those are two guys that I think the Chrome rely on. Moral, obviously, but yeah, I'm excited for Malloy this summer. I thought that him and Wisnauskas played awesome in this format. I guess another funny thing is sixes or not, face off or not, the Archers still choke in the playoffs.
I mean, now is it a yeah? I mean, I guess it probably is a choke.
It's not an actual choke, but you know,
they definitely they underperform when in an elimination game. In those situations, they just can't seem to get it done, regardless of where they're playing. So I don't know. The haters are definitely happy. That's what I'll say. So anyone who likes to shit on the boys, especially for popping bottles maybe a little bit too early, they were having themselves a nice little Saturday night.
Yeah, the haters were out and about. I like the Archers format. Like I thought it. Quick, Ryan Ogden, the Brown boys just might be really good at this format. I mean, talk about someone that like he's going to have a phenomenal sophomore bump. I think. He would.
Well, maybe even. But did we get a chance to see him play last summer?
Yeah, he was great last summer.
Okay, yeah,
I think he's going to be.
Blacked that out of my head.
I think he's going to because they would do, especially like with something they roster him for a week and then they don't, and then they once you can lose him, you roster him again. I think he's going to be rostered pretty much all summer long for the Archers. I think he's going to have a long career, great pro. I was very, very impressed with him this week.
Well, listen, obviously we have to talk about, real quick, let's just stay with the champs real quick. So Sean Scanone, I think equally had one of the biggest weeks out of anybody there. Huge week for him to kind of put himself in that top echelon of like, I feel like
top goalie in the league, which
I wouldn't say top goalie in the league, but
no. Yes, like top 3 goalie.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I thought you said like the top. No, so I mean, you still got Blaze, you still got Dylan Ward.
Yeah, I forgot. Never mind. This recency bias. Just cut it. Produced. Cut it. Okay. Do you want me to? This is on my mind, and I don't want to forget it. But I think you're going to love this argument.
Go ahead.
So with the sixes format and the 2-point line, which is not in the world game, right? You think the U.S. in the PLL sixes format can beat Canada?
No.
I think they can. And I don't. And if it was a best of 5, I think with. I want it with the 2-point line.
So even still, though, no.
Maybe not. Maybe.
Dude, so like Jeff Teat scores from 13 in box. Like
Romar Dennis, though, is Michael Jordan from what I just saw.
So yes, so Romar in sixes is unstoppable. But here's the thing, like
I think it's closer than you think. Like if it was just all singles, it's going to be Canada. It's going to be Canada wins by 15. With the twos, I'm like maybe Canada wins by 2.
Dude, I don't know, man.
I know. It's something I've considered all day long, and this is something that I want to put on the PLL. I think it would be awesome, like amazing, if at All-Star Weekend they did sixes.
I was happy that
US versus Canada, and do it any way you can. You know, have like the All-Star game if you want to, but like you want to get eyes on that. Sixes, USA versus Canada would put asses in the seat.
The only thing with that is someone's getting hurt in that game.
You want to talk about like people like
someone's getting hurt in that game, and I don't know.
Even like they did it like this week. I know that you can't. It's so hard to find time though to get a U.S. Canada. Like I want to just see it with the 2-point line. I'm very self-aware that Canada would dust us, with the no 2-point line. I just think it brings a different element to our game.
Here's the thing. I think it helps more of our guys than like because you would put Romar out there, Costabile.
We're putting like half the Atlas out there.
Yeah, we're putting it's basically it would be the Atlas, add in Dylan Malloy, and
I think it would like then you like Wisnauskas. Like and then it's like how many offensive guys do you want? Like and then you're like, do we need defenders? Like I don't know how much like what I've kind of came to the conclusion of this, like Heacock I think is a great, like even like Wisnauskas on defense, it's like, all right, like if you could just be a body out there with the sixes rules where there's really no rules, like there's really no rules out there.
Like, the one thing you would definitely have to do though you would have to figure out a way to have some rules in terms of moving picks, because like I feel like that's where Canada just like crushes us because they get guys so open because their picks are so egregious.
I sat down today and I just said, what would the score be? Like because I can't. But if you asked me last week before I watched it, which team, if they're in it or not, with all their roster would win sixes, I would be a Chaos would win by 1,000,000. Water Dogs might be able to with like the Canadians they have. I think Conrad would be great at sixes. But I sat down. I was like, I don't know. I think with the 2-point line, it just becomes a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, trying to think.
The process though.
So I think that it would make it a little bit less of a shit pumping. I think that saying that it would become like a 2-goal game is still, dude, because like think of it, like put Ethan Walker out there. Ethan Walker is going to splash from 13 easily. Like it's not like Canada doesn't have guys who can shoot from range. They have plenty of them.
I'm not saying that the U.S. I'm just saying that with the 2-point, it just becomes a little different, the strategy wise.
Yeah. Okay. I here's the thing. I do agree with you that the 2-point would make it more interesting. I can also see why not having the 2-point in international is probably going to end up being a good thing.
Me too.
Because like I feel like the only country that it would help is the US. So I mean, you put it in the Olympics. Like I don't foresee. I think someone tweeted this out. That I'm not going to be able to give them credit because I'm not going to be able to find the tweet right now. But someone tweeted out, "Yeah, I can't wait to watch sixes in the Olympics." Yeah, Romar Dennis just scored 57 2-pointers against Sweden. Like they're not bringing anyone out there who can launch from 2. But dude, yeah, I mean, what a week for Romar Dennis. You heard him. I don't know if you got a chance to hear at all because you were there, but when he got presented the Golden Stick Award,
so funny.
But he mentioned how playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because that summer he was a healthy scratch for a few weeks. So I think that this was a huge week for him to kind of solidify himself as a kind of a signature name on that Atlas roster.
Yep.
By the way, I didn't realize. I thought that at first, because at first I thought that the Golden Stick Award was going to be presented to the MVP of the tournament and not just the guy who had the most points. So if that was at first, I was like, dude, did they really just give the MVP to Romar after they lost and Scanone had 15 saves in this game? But I mean, I guess the fact that it goes to the most points.
Yeah, that was cool. They didn't have a most outstanding player, but it was very funny to have to see Romar get pulled from the locker room and have to go up there and wow, there's confetti and everything and smoke going everywhere. I just saw it because they do it in the World Cup, I guess, but it was just hilarious to me to see him have to go up to the podium and just be like, "Fuck this."
Yeah,
I thought it was a nice touch.
But yeah, I mean, dude, he was unstoppable for most of the week. Chrome kind of figured it out for the most part in this championship game where, just basically all you can really do is just shut him off before he gets to the midfield line. And then you have a little bit of some, of some success against them. But even still, I mean, he had what, couple 2 bombs in that fourth, right? I think he had, yeah. So 2 pointers in the fourth quarter. So
played well. Caraway played very well. Especially
Caraway played really well. Dude, Costabile is this was a week where I'm trying to figure out where Costabile fits in the best player in the world rankings.
You know how I think of him. I think he's outstanding.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of 10 guys that are better.
You can't. I can't name 5.
I'm putting him comfortably in my top 10 players in the world right now.
Should I look at what the players ranked him?
Yeah, let's see where that is. I'm going to.
You want to get into the sixes debate a little bit, and do you want while I look this up? So I'm interested to hear what you're saying, what you think.
Okay, so yeah, I thought going into this weekend, I thought that there were already 3 different categories of people. There were people who already love sixes just because they're diehard Lax fans and they're going to love anything that's lacrosse. So you already have people who were going to love sixes. You were already going to have people who hate sixes and say that it's a bastardized version of the sport. And then you were going to have people in the middle. And I feel like this weekend was a great time, a great chance to start to bring more people from the middle over into loving sixes. And I think that's what this tournament did. I don't think that there was anybody out there who would be unsure about sixes and watch that format of game being played with this level of talent and come away thinking that it sucks. I don't think there's anyone who could have watched this and be like, yep, I hate, if you already hated sixes, we weren't going to change your opinion either way. Right. Because that's just the way that the world works, where you have an opinion and instead of being open-minded, you just have to always dig your feet into the ground and it becomes I'm right, you're wrong type of thing. So we weren't going to get those losers anyway, but people who were in the middle, I think, and I was probably closer to the middle than anything. And after watching this, I thought that it was electric. I feel bad for faceoff guys because I feel like this was a rough week for them. I think they were catching shit from all different angles. They were getting it everywhere. But here's the thing, I didn't miss them. Watching these games, it wasn't I was something's missing from this game. I wish that there were more faceoffs. I didn't miss that at all.
So I really want to say this about sixes. The people that are sixes is the future, sixes is not the future. It was just fun. Like it was nice to just like see like get some PLL content. Like the fact I think it was wildly successful. It was just cool. It was just
So yeah, so I will go back on that. Definitely, I don't think that it's the future of lacrosse. I think that what
no,
I think that it is something that I'm very comfortable with having a tournament like this every year. Very comfortable with maybe like international competition having it that way. I don't, but like I'm perfectly fine with sixes being in the Olympics, and then just having traditional lacrosse and box lacrosse in their respective seasons. So I'm not going to come away from this weekend being like the PLL this summer we should just do sixes this summer, because it is like it's wildly chaotic game, and it's
there's a couple things though that I think you could take stuff from sixes.
yeah, there's one of these that you're about to say that you're lucky that we're doing these episodes on Zoom and not in person, because I'd have to.
No, the chase out. So the chase out, I actually think I kind of drawn back on. I said we should just do the chase out, just get rid of it. I think in the regular field game, which I want to keep, if you don't have the chase out, it diminishes the shots. You want more shots for more fun. It's just I only said ban the chase out because it's just so for the common fan, it's just so simple. Like, oh, it's off them, go the other way. And what I want is, yeah, if I can have lacrosse be as big as the NBA right now with face-offs, with the pace of play that it's at, then fuck it. Yeah, I like lacrosse for what it is right now. That's why I have a podcast about it. That's why I do all this shit, because I like the sport of where it is. But I can put my ego aside and be like, I'm trying to get to a more like a broader audience. Like it's called grow the game. And like I say all the time, everyone's like grow the game, but only the way I want it to be grown. One thing that a lot of people were texting me, they tuned in for lacrosse for the first time, or they tried it out again. A lot of people said no face-off was awesome, picked up the pace of play, and I think that we saw lacrosse a lot. I think Billy's very big on sixes is the future, and that sixes is the best product. I think that Billy just like was drinking beers and saw like a lot of goals, and he's like, "This is fucking awesome." That was my.
But like you have to like the most like common sports fan is a guy who's drinking a lot of beers and wants to see a lot of goals.
Like I just think that like yes, I like the face off. I want to publicly say that I like the face off. I think there's strategy behind it. Like I just firmly believe with the amount of goals that are scored in lacrosse and the stoppage of play that happens because of face-offs, if you just got rid of it, I think that a lot more fans would like it and they would stay engaged in the game on TV. That's my point.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Yeah, because the if you can the make it take it aspect of the face-off can completely flip a game on its head. So like
which
like
is
that
great.
is like yeah, which is great. Like
Well,
that's an aspect that yeah. So that's an
MVP
aspect of the game that you're missing. But I think that there are just way too many goals scored in lacrosse for it to stop all those times and then go back to a face. So I don't know. I think you lose a little bit, but you gain. Yeah, you kind of have to figure out way like which outweighs the other. I personally, I don't know. But I have been watching a lot of face-offs in lacrosse too. So I'm like trying to like think about is recency bias playing in here, but I don't know. I thought that was a more entertaining product than a game with a face-off guy who's just dominating.
I firmly believe that if lacrosse wants to reach the next level of fans, they're gonna have like the next. And this isn't you're reaching me, face-off guys, so don't come at my throat. Again, I want to publicly say I like the face-off. I like the strategy behind it. I like having a good face-off guy on my team. I think that we should still have face-offs in college. Get the face-off guys into college. You still have it in the box game, but I think you just got to go ball out of the net and just pick it up and go. It's sad to say. I just think that if they want to reach the next like not the next generation, but the next group of fans that might like lacrosse, they're going to like it for the pace of play. and that's
my,
and then that's that. But go on.
My biggest thing here, we want the boys to get paid, right? We like if you care about the boys, if you care about lacrosse, like you want them to like you want the jokes about, oh yeah, well they've got their second job and then they just like what's their real job when you talk about professional, like you want those jokes to go away. The only way that those jokes go away is if these guys are making enough money to have a real comfortable living doing it. The only way that they're going to make all that money is if you get more people watching. The only way that you get more people watching is if you make the game. So like
I'm just saying,
said, like you need to make the game to a point, because like you probably have a bunch of friends who aren't diehard lacrosse fans. They tune into a lacrosse, like let's say they probably do the same thing that everyone does every year, where they're not lacrosse fans, but they'll tune in more Memorial Day weekend. And then you get hounded with a bunch of texts like what was that? What was this? Like, what's this rule? What's that rule? Because like they don't. So like you take a lot of that out of the equation with sixes. Like you don't have to worry about like what's the offsides rule. You don't have to worry about a run out, like explaining to your friends like, yeah, if you shoot it out of bounds, like you could possibly get the ball back if your guy is closer to the end line when the ball goes out of play.
Russian.
Yeah, but and then they're like, "What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, just like, stop talking to me. I'm done with the sport." So, yeah, like you kind of have to, you got to dumb down the sport a little bit to get more fans into it, and the more fans that are into it. So maybe it's not the future of PLL. Like, it's not the future of the game. Like, the traditional game is fucking beautiful and awesome, but a lot of people are going to be watching the Olympics in 2028. Do you really want to fucking explain every rule of lacrosse to all of your friends who don't actually watch when they're on the Olympics? Or would you like them to watch a highly entertaining game with a bunch of goals and not a ton of rules that they need to learn, have a good time, and be like, oh, yeah, you know what? Lacrosse is awesome.
Yeah, it's just putting the ego aside for the betterment of the game.
Yeah, well.
In my opinion. So I'm team. I think we're trending towards the face-off just being out of the field game in the summer.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
That's more so where I was going is, I think that there's stuff you could take from sixes. I think that's one of them. I think that we still have to have chase outs, unfortunately, unless you like shrink the field. But you can't shrink the field because I want to keep long pulls. I'm not going to try to kill every single person's job. I feel bad going after face off guys. Like, so I'm not going after them.
It's not that. Yeah, I know. But
it's like I don't, because people like, I like the face off. I watch lacrosse all the time. I don't. It's just purely based off trying to get more fans involved. Second, let's move. Like, people are gonna hate this. Joe Keegs has a cool, like, I need to see exactly how he wants like the 3-point line to be, but he wants like different angles or something. I wanted at 13 yards, and here's why. Again, with like the dumb guys that just see more goals. If more guys see more 2-pointers, they're gonna be like, this game rocks. Do you know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of like the Warriors when they score more threes. People are like, oh, that's great. I like, or like the dunking. Like, I think moving up the 2-point line to the actual game, so there's more 2-pointers, would just be cool.
Until you have in the summer like a pole running down in transition and stepping in from 13.
Yeah, I want that. I know it's crazy. Maybe I might be alone out there, because I was saying it like this weekend. People are like, no, you can't have it. I think again, I'm trying to think of dumb sports fans that are tuning in on a Friday to watch a PLL game, and they see a lot more 2-pointers. They're gonna love it.
So to that point, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you want that many goals all summer long.
Yeah, I do.
So I don't think that you do, because eventually we're going to run out of goalies.
Wait.
Eventually.
Why?
Because who the fuck is going to want to stand in net and get shelled on by Jared Newman coming down from 13 and getting fucking picked apart left and right for and getting 30 hung up on you.
Well, okay, so you're saying that perspective, but you're gonna have to pick up Jared Newman at 17 anyways, like even like 20. Like I don't think like people are gonna be able to pull it still. People will still like nobody's really gonna pull up, but they do, but it's very like no one's just gonna be able to casually just pull up from 17. People will casually pull up from 15. Like that's 2 yards behind the 13 yard, and then people obviously pull up from 13. It's not just always gonna be 13. People are gonna be used to pulling up from 15 and will pull that trigger.
All right, maybe. I don't know that. I think
like they're not
I do think that the one group that we really need to start keeping an eye on. Listen,
oh, by the way,
guys.
No, we don't. I got fucking shattered. You want to talk about getting pulled up from? Wait. This actually plays into me so well. Jared Newman pulled up on me from 13. That's where the goalie challenges are from.
He was wearing fucking flip flops.
Yeah, but
you got Jared Newman at like 9:30 in the morning in a pair of flip flops pulled up on you. I think that's a little bit different than in the middle of a game while he's wearing cleats and just looking to Jesus Christ. Doogs, I love you, but I'm not going to let you have that one. Yeah, what I'm saying, the one group that we really do need to keep an eye on here. Listen, the face-off crowd, I love them all to death. They're some of my favorite psychopaths. They're some of the sweetest psychopaths you'll ever meet. Face-off guys are awesome. We love them all. But if like this version of lacrosse pushes them out of the game, then whatever. Like, hey, go hit the wall a few more times. You can still be in lacrosse, like just hit the wall and be like an actual player. The goalies are what we really need to keep an eye out for because, dude, like Brian Phipps tweeted out a photo of his legs after the shelling that he got this week. Dude, his leg looks disgusting. It is hideous. It is black. It is blue. It's that gross like yellow color when your bruise starts to dissipate. Like it looks horrific. I can't imagine that any of the goalies look good after this weekend. And you have a goalie growing up playing sixes his whole life and he's getting shelled his whole life. Eventually he's going to say, you know what, fuck this shit. Like, let me play out in the field because I don't want to get hit with shots anymore. I want to start hitting people with shots. Then all of a sudden we run out of good goalies and then the game kind of goes away a little bit. So I just think that we need to be careful of how much we take from sixes that would end up like kids in the future from now, like chasing them out of the net.
I think
one thing is we got to be careful.
I think if I was like at a lacrosse company right now and we had a board meeting tomorrow and they're like, all right, Monday meetings, like what should we innovate next? I'd be like, let's make shin guards that look cool. Like,
well, yeah, but like then, so basically what this is really getting around to is we should give the goalies padding. And in order to not have to do the runouts, we don't have to worry about the runouts. We can put boards around the field with glass. And then I don't know, maybe like if we don't want there to be too many goals, we can make the net smaller. So net smaller, put the goalies in padding, maybe have them hold the stick more like a hockey goalie.
I like it. And then I was thinking this when we were sitting at the PLL Bar Down Beer Garden. You know the nets that stop it from getting to like the crowd?
Yeah. Oh, I did see you on the broadcast. One got close to you, and I did see you flinch.
I was going to tweet it. I wish you sent it to me because legitimately,
I couldn't get a good video of it.
I was going to say we put way too much trust into those, and I go no matter. I had the tweet written out, but I was like, this is so niche. No one's really going to get it. No matter how many times one of those balls, doesn't matter where, I'll flinch every single time.
Yeah. No, I saw it. It was kind of like right after Romar drilled that ref in the nuts with a shot. It was like pretty soon after that. But yeah, I saw the yellow South Carolina hat with
this thing takes some wear and tear. The amount of free publicity I've done for. If you actually are watching this and you like this hat, give him a shout out. He's a great guy. Charleston Elite Lacrosse.
I mean, if we're giving shout outs to hats, also committed combine.
Yeah. Send me more. And then maybe we can do a switcheroo. I'll get committed combine. You get Charleston Elite.
Yeah. I don't want to wear that hat after what you did to it this week.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Thanks.
No, I will say I think that listen, sixes that we saw this week was highly entertaining, and I think that definitely a way to get new people into the sport. I love the traditional version of the sport. I think that maybe slowing down the game a little bit as far as like actual gameplay. So 54-second shot clock, I think is perfect. 30's a little tight, a little chaotic to where I don't know if I could watch an entire season of that, especially because it's not like there were like maybe a couple possessions throughout this tournament where guys were able to get a reset on the shot clock, and it ended up being like a minute to a minute 15 long possession, which is fine. But if it's just like back and forth like that all the time, it might be a little too chaotic. So I like the traditional game for the regular season. But yeah, definitely some things that we can take away from sixes. And I thought that overall, I don't know. And I didn't really see anybody who wasn't violently against sixes to begin with, who came away after this tournament being anti-sixes.
Yeah, I really hope that I hope that I hope there's a board meeting where nobody is talking and we should make sixes the future or anything like that. I want to be on the
So
record.
just keep Billy out of the board meetings.
Yeah, if the PLL switches full time to sixes, I'm gonna quit doing lacrosse in general. Like whatever I do for lacrosse right now, I'm done. Loosely, like I think I'm done.
All right, the gauntlet's been thrown down.
Right, I know we're finishing up, but I just need to get this take out there. Watching Stags this week try to coach sixes, it was like having what's his fucking name? It's like having Red Auerbach trying to coach against the Golden State Warriors, just having a fucking old time head coach of the 3-point era. It was crazy. He was trying to do singles, and it was the Atlas we're just gonna double and triple them up. It was insane. It was insane to watch. And I know they had a bunch of team middies and guys that aren't used to playing offense. Not a lot of Dodgers, but I mean, Jesus fucking Christ! Try a four corners offense. Try anything.
Yeah. So a couple of takes on the whip snakes. So dude, I would be one. I will be very curious as to how many players from this whip snakes roster that they brought to the championship series are on the roster in the summer, because it dude, listening in on those because on the broadcast, how the camera always gets in on the timeouts, and you can hear everything. Dude, some of those timeouts sounded very confrontational. So it seemed like there was one in particular where Stags literally had to tell someone shut up, I don't need more coaches in here right now. So I don't know what the vibes were there, but it just did not seem like anyone had a good time. But
yeah,
what I will say is that I think that the whip snakes are going to be dangerous, even more dangerous than they typically are this summer, because once you bring back Rambo, once you bring back Zed, once you bring back all those polls, and now what we did is this embarrassed the whip snakes. So now these guys have to come out here and the tails are tucked between the whip snakes' legs, but it's not because of any of their best players. So then they're just going to come back and just unclamp their legs, and that tail's going to come back and just smack everybody in the face.
They get the long pulls back. They're a good field team. I totally agree. I think it's going to be a revenge tour. Is there anybody that you wish you saw play this format that didn't make it, or
as well? So I saw Miles Jones would be a demon in this, but are you talking about guys who could have been on rosters but weren't?
No, just like a Miles Jones. I was gonna say a Ryan Conrad. Obviously,
I think that I think that the way that they're doing it right now, where the top, like you incentivize the top 4 teams in the regular season, I do think is a good thing to put just a little bit more incentive in the regular season in the summer, because you see guys on the Chrome walking away with 15 grand after 5 days of games. So like maybe now guys will have this summer, like they'll be like, hey, like if it's a game in the middle of August, and maybe they'll try like a little bit harder because they know that they could potentially have 15 grand coming their way in February. So I do like the way that it's just 4 teams in here, but I would love a chance to see all, like, not that we would get all the chaos guys because they'd be, with NLL obligations, but like I would love to get away to get all of the PLL, like the full PLL rosters, to see how a tournament of 6s would go with that. Because like you said, like the chaos win in a landslide, Water Dogs kind of right there, Atlas are definitely right there. I mean, obviously the Chrome just won this tournament, so you'd have to put them there as well. But like you also have to remember the Chrome had like most of their top guys in this tournament anyway. Like the Atlas had the top 3 point scorers in this tournament, and they could have had Jeff Teat if they wanted to.
Yeah, it's insane to think about. That's insane.
So,
that's really. Do you have anything else to say about 6s?
Not really. Yeah, I think we went a little bit longer than we wanted to, but dude, I mean, great tournament. Looking forward to that happening more as the years go by. Definitely more excited now for the. It was a good taste of PLL action before we get into the summer.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice to kind of get like the little tickle.
Yeah, exactly.
My only college note that I really want to just get out there really fast. Georgetown lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a wagon. Can't help but wonder, Tucker Dordovic, great player, leading 2 elite programs in shambles.
Well, I don't know about that. Is Georgetown an elite program?
Maybe not an elite program. Okay, program. Came in. Georgetown had a lot of problems. Is Tucker Dordovic killing programs? Is he the program killer?
It's a question that needs to be asked. That's for sure. I'd say right now, probably the schedule maker is killing that Georgetown program the most.
No, I'm kidding. I just wanted to get that out there.
Well, listen, here's the thing.
I couldn't even try to say it. I've been trying to,
But it's going to be a great clip for social. It'll get the people going, and then if they actually listen to the episode, they'll know that it was a joke. But it's a good clip.
It's a good clip. And then he'll only see the clip. He won't listen, and he'll be like, "Fuck that long-haired fat kid." It's like, fuck that piece of shit. But I was also thinking when Tucker Dordovic gets drafted, probably I don't even know who has the number 1 pick or whatever. He gets drafted. I'm just going to eventually assume when he gets drafted to the Atlas and they do the 6s format and they come back next year. Holy shit, is it going to be just like pandemonium on that field?
Yeah, and then he's going to hear this clip, and then he's going to be there, and he's going to be aiming for you in the Bar Down Beer Garden because he knows that you're terrified and don't think that the net's going to stop the ball.
And then, I'm not even going to say it. Program killer.
All right. Well, we'll have more college talk coming up on Friday's episode because it was, a pretty big week, terrible week for the Ivy. So Lark and Kemp, you might not want to listen to this Thursday's episode, but we'll get more into that later. Doogs, again, I commend you on your outstanding performance at the St. James at the Bar Down Beer Garden. It was just a heroic effort by you. So clap it up for Doogs in the chat, and make sure that you are following us on social. We are at the Crease Dive on Instagram and Twitter. We are, one more time, is it Stool Crease Dive on TikTok?
Yep, Stool Crease Dive on TikTok.
Stool Crease Dive on TikTok. Make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. And in the meantime, we'll be keeping it low to high until the day we die. Be out.